Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I mean, it's like every time I try to do a video, I'm like overwhelmed with all this stuff that's got to be shown to you. Let's get going. First, I want to let you know Kava Network, who is one of my sponsors. Don't miss Scott Stewart. I think I had that right. Scott Stewart speaking on the power, cross-chain liquidity, and interoperability at permissionless. Prepare to be inspired. He's going to be speaking. You can, in the top of the description of this video, you can follow Kava Platform and you can follow Scott Stewart. I put their Twitter handles in the top if you want to give them a follow. All right. This morning, Muhammad Al-Arian, I think I said that right, he was on Squawk Box. Now, this is him on Squawk Box, but I thought it would be more fun while you listen to this to see this picture where he was at Ripple Swell 2021 and listen to it from here. Let me hit the refresh button. You know how a picture paints 1,000
Hey, Mohammed, I want you to weigh in on crypto because your view of crypto, I think, has shifted over time. It's evolved. I don't know if it's evolved again. I think there was a period of time where you were a true skeptic, and as things started to move, and I think for a lot of us, as the train started to leave the station, there was a view that maybe there was that this was actually a much more real phenomenon, and it wasn't just going to be a phenomenon, but it was going to be here to stay. As things have moved back, I wonder if your position has changed.
So the three elements of my position, Andrew, are simple. One, those who claim that cryptocurrencies will be a global currency are wrong. They're not. Second, those who claim that crypto and the crypto innovations are going to be increasingly part of the financial system, particularly the eco-payment system, they're right. Crypto has a role to play in our economy. And then the third view is that unless the crypto world and the regulatory world start communicating better, which they're not, it's as if I listen to both sides. They're talking different languages completely. They don't hear each other. Unless they start communicating better, we are going to be left behind in a global race to incorporate the innovations that come from crypto. And that's important because the leaders, right now China, the leaders in that race will also influence global standards. So, those three elements have been pretty consistent over time. And what we really need to focus on is this third element to make sure that we can manage the risks of crypto, unleash the benefits of crypto, and do this in a leadership way.
What does it say, though, about the value of crypto? And in particular, we look obviously at Bitcoin and Ethereum on a daily basis.
Yeah, the value of crypto was influenced by liquidity as well. I think people forget that there's a reason why crypto hasn't played the role of a diversifier, because like every other asset class, they were helped by these predictable and massive injection of liquidity. So that pushed people in all sorts of asset classes. Now, the good news for crypto is the same good news for bonds, is we're starting to see the reestablishment of more sensible correlations. But we're still at an early stage. We need the liquidity effect to be priced out before we see crypto and bonds play the role of true diversifiers.
That sounds to me like he just said we need real utility is what I heard when he said that. Now, just so you know, he was saying back on June 7th, 2021, he was on CNBC, and he was saying basically the same thing about how they were talking about how El Salvador had adopted Bitcoin. And they were talking about Bitcoin Miami in 2021. He was basically making the point that, without saying it, he didn't say Bitcoin, but he's saying Bitcoin's not going to be a currency, okay? But listen to what he did say.
Volatile. I think it remains as part of the payments ecosystem. I really do. It's here to stay, but it's not going to be a world currency because...
All right. The payment ecosystem. And remember, proof of work doesn't work. Bitcoin is never going to be part of the payment system. That was said yesterday or today by the FTX CEO, who was also at Ripple Swell. Now, Early in my last video, I showed you where Flare said that they thought they could launch on the 4th of July. So I'm making a commitment that if they do launch on the 4th of July, I will be smoking a brisket in Flare Network's honor, and I will make sure I promote it as such, because that will be a happy day for me and for a lot of you if you actually start to get your Flare tokens. Now, the official Cool Guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel has been paying attention today, and he did this.
Asset investor, bringing back the Novo videos. He was calling XRP holders conspiracy theorists, like Trump supporters, like 9/11 conspiracy theorists, like crazy sports fans. But he came short of calling them lunatics.
That's a very good point. He did not call us lunatics. Hey, look, we might be crazy conspiracy theorists, but I didn't put a Luna tattoo on my arm. We're uneducated investors, but you can't find a Luna tattoo on my arm or anybody's arm that I know. Okay, Do Kwon says, this is so crazy. The Terra chain is as it currently exists, should be forked into a new chain without algorithmic stable coins called Terra Luna. And the old chain could be called Terra Classic. Token, this is, I mean, just about pretty much all of the value of this thing's been lost in a week. There comes a point when you should just scrap something and go off and maybe change your name and go off into the sunset or something. So I said, hey, Hester Pierce, Gary Gensler, when's security issuance? Because remember, they're not doing anything to Luna. They're not saying, hey, you can't do that. You're issuing a security. So I'm blowing the whistle. Is this a security? I don't know. We don't know. Now, more of the CNBC going after Coinbase. You see the theme, going after Coinbase and going after stable coins as long as they are not USDC, which is by Circle, which is backed by Goldman Sachs, which runs on the Stellar network. Okay? You seeing the picture here? Coinbase to slow hiring amid plunge in cryptocurrencies and tech stocks. Remember, Gary Gensler and his government buddies like Elizabeth Warren, they want to go after two things: the exchanges and stable coins. That's the major beefs they have, okay? So they're going after those. CNBC just happens to be right in line. Investors withdraw over $7 billion from Tether, raising fresh fears about stable coins backing. All right? We've been no big fan of Tether on this channel, so I don't, Then you got this. Out of nowhere, China has returned as the second largest Bitcoin mining hub with 21.1% of the total global Bitcoin mining hash rate. The Anthony Pomplianos of the world are going to go nuts. Then John Deaton says Hester Pierce admitted conflicts screening is important and must be managed. SEC officials, including Hester, never discussed specific projects or tokens. After the Hinman speech, the SEC, including Hinman and Clayton, refused to comment on other tokens. It all begs the question. The incestuous nature of these conflicts only gets worse. Why did Hinman highlight Ethereum and give the free pass? It is literally the only time a senior official at the SEC discussed the security status of a specific token. Considering how rare it is to discuss a project, you would think the speech would have been screened for conflicts. It was not. How do I know? I know it wasn't screened for conflicts because the most basic elementary conflicts check or analysis would have discovered the massive conflicts of interest and the gross appearances of impropriety. So it's so clear it's not even open for debate. All right, and he goes on in the thread. Well, then we've got this. Remember, these are the folks these are the people at the SEC who got to see and help draft the Hinman speech, okay? Remember these names: Jay Clayton, Stephanie Avakian, Bill Hinman. Let's see. Let's go down. Stephanie Avakian, Stephen Pelkin, David S. Karp, David Fredrickson, Valerie Chapinick, Jonathan Ingram, Shelley Parrott, Tamara Brightwell, Julie Davis, Dahlia Osmond Blass, Director James McGinnis, Brett Redfern, Gary Goldshoel, Heather Seidel, Natasha Griner, Parisa Hysanis, Michael Seaman, Jennifer McHugh, Robert Stebbins, Laura Jersulik, Daniel Morris, David Bartise, Amy Starr, Charles Garrison, Holly Hunter, Melissa Roberts Hark, Ronnie Bergoffen. Okay? Remember those names. Because this guy, the XRP theorist, put out the SEC announcements to leave. Remember, Ripple was sued on the 22nd, I believe, of 2020. December 22nd, 2020, I believe, is when they were sued. This guy, look at the people that quit, that announced they were leaving the SEC right here around Ripple being sued. Brett Redfern, both of these names were on the list of Hinman speech drafts. Brett Redfern, Stephanie Avakian was on there. Robert Stebbins was on there. Jay Clayton was on there. Bill Hinman was on there. Steve Pelkin was on there. Kyle Moffitt, I don't remember. Shelley Parrott was on there. I don't remember these. Anyway, a ton of these people were on the list, folks. And you remember Joseph Grunfest warned Jay Clayton not to do this, and he talked about how it had never happened where so many people left and didn't stand there to face the fire after something like this went down. Now, amidst all that, folks, Gary Gensler, who at times I think is literally making fun of XRP investors, I think that the arrogance has no bounds by these people because they've gotten away with so much for so long. So listen to this. Gary is very worried about, the SEC cares so much about conflicts of interest with regard to financial advisors.
Advisors, like doctors and lawyers, the expectation changes. These professionals serve in a position of trust, and they
kind of like an SEC chairman does.
Must meet standards of conduct to ensure they are looking out for your benefit, not their profits. Well, similarly, when we turn to financial professionals for advice, as so many Americans do, there's a need that they look out for us. When you make a decision with other people's money, there's going to be some inherent conflicts. That's a situation as old as antiquity. Left unchecked, these conflicts might affect the quality of the advice that you receive, and in turn,
how about the quality of the regulations that are done for crypto, or the lack thereof, or the free passes done in crypto? Could conflicts affect those? Financial advisors are peanuts compared to an SEC chairman and SEC personnel for the United States of America. Well, Gary and them, they apparently have no problem with this, and neither does Elizabeth Warren, who seemed to really care about it before Jay Clayton went into office.
You have to recuse yourself from participating in any enforcement matter involving a former client of yours. That's about half of your term as chair. So based on your personal client disclosures then, for half of your tenure as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to enforce the law against several big banks, including Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Barclays, and UBS. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Those banks have repeatedly violated securities laws in the past few years. But if they violate securities laws again in your first 2 years as SEC chairman, you can't vote to punish them. And I think that's a problem. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Your recusals would not be limited just to your own former clients. The Ethics Executive Order also requires you to recuse yourself for 2 years from any matter in which your former law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell, represents a party. Now, Sullivan and Cromwell is a leading New York law firm with a very long list of Wall Street clients. So for half of your term as SEC chair, you would not be able to vote to punish any corporation or bank that uses Sullivan and Cromwell as their lawyer. Is that right?
I believe that's a fair summary, Senator. Yes.
Thank you. More potential cases with a deadlock and no enforcement, and that's a problem. And even beyond Sullivan and Cromwell's already long list of Wall Street clients, Any reasonably strategic company that wanted to try to avoid an SEC enforcement action could simply hire Sullivan and Cromwell to represent them before the agency, and then you couldn't vote for enforcement against that company.
Wait a minute. You mean a company like Consensus and Joseph Lubin? They could hire Sullivan and Cromwell, and then Jay Clayton could not do anything to them. Think about this, people. This guy, Joseph Lubin and Consensus were in the freaking room and on the phone with Jay Clayton's people at the SEC in the lead up to the Bitcoin and Ethereum free pass. And they were Sullivan and Cromwell clients, so Jay Clayton could not even do anything to them because of what she's saying here. And now we're not hearing a word out of the SEC ethics office. We're not hearing a word out of Elizabeth Warren. We're not hearing anything from Hester Pierce, Gary Gensler, or any of them about this. And it is what created the entire structure of crypto to this day as I sit here. And it's all there. The spotlight's directly on it. It's right there. When we started down this road, I even had no idea how nasty this all was. And luckily, we have John Deaton and Empower that are going to eventually, it's just a matter of time before this all gets flushed out, because this is downright no damn good. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that if 4th of July Flare Networks decides they're going to put that thing out and start to do the distributions, then I will be smoking a brisket and having a great time. Thanks for listening.